Konbanwa. Hello, hello, hello. Howdy. How we doing? Got some people in. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever it is for you in the world. Hello Quilter, hello Voxwell. First chatters here. I feel like I'm always in sort of a rush to get these things started. My son didn't want to go to sleep today. I've got some new tech which came very last minute, but I still wanted to use it. I'll explain a little bit in a minute. But we are running on no testing, no nothing on this new tech. So things might go weird. It's really hot in this room for some reason. It's been fine all day, and then all of a sudden it's just become really quite warm. I hope we're all okay. People dripping in slowly now. A few things. Oh no. Frozen. Are we back? Did we lose connection? I think we're back. Let me know if we've re-established. I don't know what happened there. I think we're good. Momentary pause seems fine now. Our first major software issues we've had. It stuck a bit, but not frozen. Okay, we're back. It never rains, but it pours. Anyway, we got a new camera. I bought it yesterday, and through the wonders of the modern world, we are up and running with it today. It came like an hour before stream, but I was also trying to get the kid to sleep. Yeah, saying the tech was tricky and it was warm and then it froze. Sounds about right. Makes sense. So, today, it is Tuesday evening for me, so it means we're working on the bonsai print. Still on the key block. I haven't done anything outside of the streams. God, I look like an absolute scruff. Late in the evenings, I guess I'm going to look a little bit scruffier than I will at the start of the day. So we have a new camera. Let's have a look at the new camera. Babyface Kappa, welcome. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Actually, the camera's looking a little dark here. I tried to play around with the ISO, and it was going a bit funny. This will have to do for tonight. Subscribe with the Prime. Thank you very much. You don't have... that's great. Thank you so much. Wow. I've only just affiliated the other day and we're still trying everything out. I got a bunch of stuff to talk about that as well. Like I said, the camera seems a little bit dark. It's partly because it's the evening and partly because I haven't been able to sort out the settings. I had a fiddle with the settings and I was working out some of the stuff I need to set up for capturing the type of images I want. But I wasn't able to set all my channels up properly. So we're going to work on the standard setting here. And they do have a bunch of filters on this. I got the Fuji MX XM5. And it's really difficult to get your hands on. I saw one on Amazon for the first time in a while. And I quickly snapped it up last night. Octo, hello. Welcome. Welcome. Some familiar names coming in. So let's get started. I'm going to do a little bit of carving, warm up. Got a bit of nerve pain in my finger today. Maybe it's from cycling. I'm a bit out of practice. Good morning. Hello, Flyfish. Discord is a good thing for reminders. Yeah, I've only just managed it. It's been, 6 streams, and I've only just managed to set that up. It was actually a really easy fix. Are we on camera? Where am I carving? I'm going to be carving here. So let's adjust the camera. Excuse me for the earthquakes. I got to get a new lens so we can zoom in really close. I'm getting a macro, but that'll have to wait a little bit. And I'll change the settings. Happy days, yeah. Thank you for signing up to the Discord as well. I did get a reminder. Good. General Zimmer, welcome. Let's get a little bit of oil on this. Get carving. And then once I'm settled in, we can chat about some stuff. Maybe I should start in an easier place. Let's do these. I'm not sure why it's so hot here. It was a nice day today, but it hasn't been this balmy and humid. All of a sudden, the humidity's just like really peaked. You love the bonsai print I'm making. Thank you so much. We'll see how it turns out. This knife is feeling a little bit dull. Here's one I made earlier. I think I was using one of my knives earlier with some rulers. So maybe I just clipped the edge of the knife on the ruler when I was scratching it. Just dulled it slightly. Hopefully this one's better. The title screen did say that I was just sharpening my knives, but in all honesty I wasn't. I was fiddling around with cameras. Later on in the stream, around the hour mark, I guess, we'll have our first ever question time. We've had a question submitted to the Discord. Some technical question about carving. It can be anything. Technical questions are welcome. Especially technical carving questions. But we have our first today. I'm not sure if I've seen Miss Lemon in chat today. But the question was submitted by her. We can always send her the VOD after if she's not about for these ones. I guess that's going to have to be a thing as well. If you're a person that's not going to be able to catch both streams, you might want to time putting your questions in to make sure that you're going to be here for when I'm actually answering your particular question. But we'll have that later. We'll do that just after the ads at the hour mark. I can't believe you lied to us. Who am I lying to? Maybe that's an internal conversation. I'm not sure I lied. Am I sourcing my blocks from Mokahankan? My work I do for Mokahankan, all my blocks come from Mokahankan. We're frozen again. Oh no. Looks like we stuttered a little bit there. Ah, they're sharpening the knife. Okay. Maybe I can change it. So yeah, the blocks I get, the work I do for Mokahankan, I get the blocks for that work from Mokahankan. This is a personal project, so I got these blocks from Woodlike Matsumura. I put an order in a little while ago. As I'm publisher and everything for this myself, artist, publisher, carver, possibly printer, we'll see. I ordered these myself. When I get assignments from Asaka Sensei, and I'm helping him with projects, his blocks are also sourced from Matsumura, but I don't source them or buy them. He'll order blocks specifically for for projects, unless they're quite simple ones. He has a big stockpile of a lot smaller ones and Chuban and Orban, classical sizes. But usually for specific projects, he'll place an order himself. A couple questions there. Put links with timestamps for the Q&A sections in your YouTube videos with the VODs and answer. Yeah, that would be great. I got loads of time to be doing that, but yeah. I'm sure I can. That's just one section, yeah. The good thing with this camera is that this is recording now in OpenGate, which means that it's actually filming above and below what you can see on screen. So it means you can transfer these files then into, well, I use DaVinci Resolve, but you can put them in any video software, and you can turn the videos vertical and you've got that extra space above. So that means if I want to make shorts, and the thinking was kind of I'd make shorts of the Q&A sections, and I could, any clips, if anyone makes clips or stuff, I could also put them up. But for sure, the Q&A sections I could make shorts for. And maybe some other segments. I'm still in the planning stage for other segments. Again, if you have suggestions, I'm open. Flyfish was asking how do they compare. I'm assuming you're referring to the wood blocks from Mokankan and Matsumura. The blocks from Matsumura are, well, he's a dedicated woodblock maker, so the blocks are better sourced wood. They have long established ties with lumber yards, and they get basically first refusals on all the best cherry. So the wood blocks from Matsumura are usually much better. The thing with buying wood blocks is, I mean, they come from a tree, and sometimes you'll get a really nice tree and you'll go, this is the exact stuff I want, oh, give me more of this please, and they'll tell you, oh, that was the last bit of this tree. If the system was really, really healthy, then there'd be, you know, lots of trees to choose from. But the current situation is that there's only a certain amount to go around. And it's a little bit of a gamble to buy trees. And you can spend a lot of money getting a big bit of timber, and then you can make a couple blocks out of it, test it, and it's not quite there after aging it for 5 years or whatever. So you've really got to know, there's like a big institutional knowledge that Mokankan's still at the early stages of. And that department actually has changed hands, so Dave's now taking on that portion himself. So hopefully the wood will improve for Mokankan. Since we're on the topic of wood, I can tell you about my plans for tomorrow. So I'm going to Mokankan tomorrow around 12, and me and Dave are gonna rent a car, and I went there a week or so ago, and we went through some of the wood that was in Mokankan and selected some pieces that we thought would be nice. And we have a date tomorrow to go to a block cutter, where he's just going to slice these large chunks of wood into some boards, and then we'll take them to the finishers. I'm not sure if we'll do the finishing tomorrow. If the time is good, then we'll be doing that. Take them to the finishers, and then we can make some new boards. I'm not sure we're going to have much good key block material. There was one log that was extremely heavy. So hopefully we can get some good wood. I'm sure on Dave's next stream, which is Thursday, he'll probably talk about this in more detail. I can just tee that up. We will be doing that tomorrow. It shouldn't be too far. I think it's like driving from Asakusa only like 20 minutes. But then we'll be waiting around while the blocks are being cut. Maybe I can document. I might take my camera, play around with it on the train, take some footage. I'm considering order blocks from Matsumura, but of course shipping's expensive, and I'm not at level skill or detail to justify the expense. What I always say is, I think it's not your first print. I know you've probably made a few. I haven't seen actually any of your work, Flyfish. But good materials and good tools, just that alone can really elevate your carving. So working with the best stuff, obviously you're going to get the best results. And you don't have to go all out at the start. Just get like, let me show you a little block. I know the shipping's expensive, but just to get a key block, you can get these little blocks. They're postcard print size, and Matsumura sells these. And they're really quite cheap. The shipping is probably what's going to cost you, but the blocks themselves, for something this size, we've only got, how many mils of thickness have we got? It's only 3 mil thick of cherry. And if you just get a couple of these, even if like, I would consider some of these blocks color blocks for me, because it's not quite hard enough for the lines I'm carving. If you are only used to Shina, this stuff's going to be like iron to you. Or, yeah. So, I suggest just testing the waters and getting some of these little blocks. They're really not that expensive. The bigger blocks are going to cost you. I don't know what the conversions are at the moment. I think the big full Orban size blocks like this one I have here, I think they're going for like 14,000, so 14,000 yen. Is that right? Yeah, 14,000 yen I think they're going for right now. He might have raised his prices again. But those small ones, they're like a couple thousand yen. And when you get a nice piece of wood, nice piece of sakura, and it's smooth, the knife isn't feeling the bumps as you go along. Can someone post the link? Yeah, can someone do that for me, please? I'm on my phone here. Thank you, Voxwell. First one to it. I don't have any chocolate eggs on this stream. Maybe I can think of something. Maybe I'll make a special emote for something. And put it on like a really high tier, so only I can give them out to people. Or mods can give them or something. Let me have a think about it. Thank you for sharing those links. That's really helpful. I've actually got quite a busy week. Today was a nice relaxed day until the last hour here. But the rest of the week I'm going to be all over town. I got a bunch of events coming up. Tomorrow it's Wood with Dave. The day after I will be having an excursion with Asuka Sensei. We will be going to, what's it? It's Yokota base. We're going to the American military base, which I believe is, where is it? Fusa, which is west of Tokyo, I think. A little bit out of the way, a little bit tricky to get to. But we'll be doing a demonstration and workshop there tomorrow. I think predominantly it's for the families of the military personnel. I know we'll get a small tour and then we'll be doing a little demonstration and probably like City Taiken, which is a printing workshop. It's been a little while since I did a printing workshop. I used to do them at least once a month for all the early years of my apprenticeship. I did them with Asuka Sensei. We went to a paper supply store. They also do a little make your own papers, teaching people how to buy washi, and they've got lots of washi from not just printmaking paper but all different types of washi in one big store. Then upstairs they have a gallery and some classrooms where they hold crafts and like calligraphy. Asuka Sensei had his printing workshop there once a month, so I used to go there to do that with him. I haven't really done that in recent years, not since having a kid. Did they stop again? I know they did stop for the pandemic, and then they opened up international orders again. I believe they should be doing the international shipping again, unless they've stopped again, but I haven't heard anything about that. They should be selling them. Yeah, Flyfish is on this. Good evening. Hi, Ruha. Let me know if they have stopped the international orders. It's good information to know. Especially if I'm promoting their woodblocks. Not affiliated. yeah, so like I was saying, tomorrow wood, day after printing workshop at Yokota American Military Base. And then the day after that, another event. I'll be going to my son's first school excursion. It's the first one of the year. I think they'll do one a semester. All the classes go on an excursion, and the parents are invited as well. It's not a very far excursion. It's to our local park, which is actually a really nice park, but I've had the last couple weekends nominally off. I haven't had any major projects on my desk, so we've actually been to that park the last couple weekends. But it'll be nice. Get to meet some of the other parents. Obviously, I know the parents for the kids in my class, but I think there's only there's 5 students now. A new one just joined. But the other years, hardwood, plywood, Japanese cherry, Yamazakura. Posted to the UK, 50 quid. Wow, it's more than blocks. $50. Well, that's your call. There are other places. I guess you're in the UK, so what's the European one? Is it JAXA or is that the American one? Jonathan's? Someone else will know these links better. I've never got Jackson's. Yeah, that's the European one. Thank you. I'm not sure if they supply wood. I'm guessing they do Shina. I don't know if they have Yamazakura. If people don't know in the chat there, then I suggest asking someone in either my Discord or the Mokankan discussion board. There's lots of other carvers in and around Europe. Yamazakura, maybe not. Someone's saying Intiligo hand printing. No, this is Mokohanga, so Japanese woodblock printing. It is hand printing. It's not Intiligo though. These are carved on wood and then they are printed with a watercolor inks. Hand pressed with a baren, which is a varnishing tool. These are the tools we print with. Okay, sorry. It's the name of a shop. Sorry, I thought it was a question. Have your own conversations. I'll stay out of it. I'll just keep busy carving. It's fine by me. Maybe we should do that. Put some smooth jazz on in the background and I can be quiet. it'll be a really different week for me. Recently, I don't even leave the shop to buy groceries. We get groceries delivered to the house. So I walk to drop my son off at school in the morning. And other than that, I don't leave the house. I should take up smoking so I can go outside at least and get some fresh air. Yeah, McLean's, that was the other one. That's in America, right? So long as you're getting your vitamin D. Yeah, I had the window open today and there was a nice little bit of light coming in. I was thinking about that today, like I'm actually a really outdoorsy person, but the career path I've chosen and my personality means that I stay indoors all day. I like the solitary of it. I do like that. But I think it's important to also get a balance, like meeting people and going outside. For a few years, I worked in the earlier years. I worked as a kindergarten teacher here in Japan, and I was moving all day. Like on days I'd go to the park with the kids, it was like between 20 and 30,000 steps a day, just like always on the move. Running around just playing tag all day and stuff like that. And since I went full time, I just sit here. I just sit here. We moved, was it last Christmas? We moved last Christmas to just out in Saitama, just out of Tokyo. And before the move, I had a swimming pool not so far from my house. So I was doing that. And because I only had a very short window in the morning to do that, I was really good about going. So at least I was getting my exercise in. I was doing 2k swimming a day. And then also on weekends going for nice long runs and stuff when I could. But with moving here, there's no swimming pool close, and it was winter. It's getting hot now. With a kid, it's just finding the time to do anything but work is tricky. So the last couple of weekends, I sort of, since I've had no projects with deadlines from Asuka Sensei, I've just focused on like enjoying this time a little bit. And I also got really busy drawing, which is another activity where you sit down a lot. Lo-fi YouTube beats. Yeah, I'll need to get that studying anime girl. Or maybe some nicer music. It's really hot in here. Wow. Because you live in Australia, you wear sunscreen, bob-brimmed hats. Lots of Australians with vitamin D deficiency. Yeah, you're avoiding it so much. It's sort of counterintuitive, but it makes sense. Where I was going with that is I'm getting a little bit fat and I need to start doing some exercise again. I was doing a lot of training for that. Well, I say a lot. It got interrupted, my training schedule, but I was training for half marathon I did recently. And then after that, because I didn't train slowly, I kind of hurt my foot a little bit. And then I took a little bit of time off, and of course it's the same. As soon as you take a break, your whole rhythm's done. And I just haven't done anything since. Well, that's not exactly true. I did do a big old cycle this weekend, actually. I did nothing regularly. I miss moving, playing sports and games. It sounds like I'm regretting my lot in life a little bit, but I do also love, I love my work. And I sit down for a reason, not just because I'm trying to put food on the table, but I do love it. Where was I? What's the question here? What drawing program do you use? I've not been all that happy with Procreate. I use a combination of Procreate and Photoshop. Any sort of roughing work I do on Procreate because I find it really intuitive to use. But if I need to do anything more, if I'm iterating, it's on Procreate, and then I do final versions, I transfer them over, and I have a lot more control in the Photoshop. I have to do that on the computer. I don't like the Photoshop app, but I do all my drawing on the iPad. I don't have a tablet. I think that's a real failing of the iPad. I really, really wish that you could connect an iPad to a desktop and just use it as a tablet. It's one of the best drawing tablets out there, the iPad. It's fantastic. But if you could connect it to your, even if it was exclusive to IMAX, if you could just connect it and use your iPad just as a tablet as an input, really missed the trick there, and it's baffling me why they haven't sorted that out. Anyway, side tangent. For making sure everything's sized correctly and that I getting the resolution I want, I use Photoshop for printing out the final images. And I think Vivid KP is saying here that it's also buy it once and then you don't have to pay monthly, which is the downside of Photoshop. Oh, you're talking about not Procreate. Affinity toolset? I've never heard of that. It's hard to set up new exercise habits. Yeah. For me, I've got the motivation to do it if I just... It's just finding a time in the day. Like, I could, in theory, do it on my lunch break, but it just means that, there's always something that has to give. For me, there's just not enough time in the day. I'm way off where I was carving, aren't I? I'm over here. Recenter things. What else we got? I don't have any input on the wood from McLean's, sorry. I'm not. Vivid KP says, I think you can. I haven't done it. There's a thing called Sidecar for iPad and Mac. There is, but you can't. I'm using my iPad as a sidecar now. So my monitor, which is far over there, is being extended over here, which is how I'm using my OBS at my carving bench. But it doesn't let you just use it as a dedicated tablet. Like, switch off all the other functions and just have it as a tablet. It also turns off, the sidecar turns off the touchscreen function of the iPad, and you can't use any of the drawing functions on it anyway. Almost all the amateur creators in the world use the iPad. Yeah, it's great. Oh, you can use the Apple Pencil with it. Thank you for that. It doesn't help me here. So you can do that? Are you saying that I've been stressing about this for so long? So if I open Photoshop on Sidecar, then I can just draw on my iPad? I've been cursing at the wall. Like, you might have just revolutionized the way I work, you know. I looked into this. I was sure it just wasn't possible. So I've just been ranting and raving about, and everyone's like just shaking their head. Yeah, it's a thing, Grandpa. You can do it. I wish I kept my mouth shut. 100% yes. Thank you. Well, I feel a little bit silly now. Well, we all got to learn something. Don't make any clips of that section. The first clip can't be me just being wrong. There's no value in that, surely. Stop carving and try it now. Nah, I'm not going to fiddle. The stream's already testing me today. A lot of things Apple does is not intuitive. I don't know, it's interesting. I think obviously the goal for them is to be intuitive. And I think a lot of the time they're successful. And then there's other times where they've, to avoid like putting buttons and displays that tell you exactly how everything is done, a lot of stuff is just hidden and you just have to know about it. Or go into the user manual, but no one does that. So it goes both ways. Once you know how, it's intuitive, but sometimes it's not intuitive to know how to do it, I guess. Time we on. But the time absolutely flies when we do these streams. I've done nothing. you're all going to have an impression of me that I'm an incredibly slow carver. But I'm not. I'm actually pretty rapid when I'm alone. Ooh, chat saves the day. Yeah, thank you. You gotten pretty good at using vector tracing. Let's not get into the vector argument. If you're having fun with vectors, all power to you. I've had this discussion endlessly. There's always some sort of, whenever I show any of my tracing process, there's always someone who's like, this would be better in vectors, you can scale it. And I know someone else who's doing things in vectors now. It's not as fast. It's just not as fast, and you don't have the control. Yes, you can modify the lines and get them exactly perfect on the things, but you lose the life in the lines, honestly. And to do the type of tracing I usually do for bigger projects, not this one, the lines are too small, but a lot of the time I do stuff called kagogaki, where maybe I could draw. So say I have, am I on camera? Say I have a brush stroke, not this pen. Here's my nice pen. Say I have a brush stroke like this. I trace an outline like this and do this black. Instead of like you see here where it's just like a solid black line like this. When I'm doing detailed work and lines that are a little bit thicker, I do kagogaki like this. I outline the lines. And to do that in vector, you're doubling the amount of work you have to do. Whereas I just come along like this and follow them with my pen. The reason we do that is to get the different tastes in the inside and outside of the brush. There's one rough side. It's called omote and ura. So the smooth edge and the inside of the brush, the rough edge. So sometimes on stuff with a lot of character, I'll do kagogaki on the tracing. When the lines are solid black and you've pasted them down, sometimes lines blur a little bit, or it's a little bit difficult to see the difference from one side of the brush to the other. Even for you guys here looking at this now, you can't tell much difference from one side to the other. So it's a really useful thing. It makes the different sides of the brush really stand out when you're carving. You might think you've not been very productive, but you've had a revelation solved. Yeah, huge problem and learning heaps. I thought I was supposed to be the educator here. I'm the guy who's supposed to be sharing some stuff, but you guys are just teaching me about tech. Thank you so much. It's a real big game changer. Now never mention it again. Where's my brush? I washed it. Okay. Where should we go next? Guess we could take these lines. A bit of oil. You use vector stuff mostly for your painting. Interesting. I still haven't seen any of your paintings. I'd like to see them. Wait till you find out about Rota when you use a voiceover on the iPad. Turning a person... oh, what's happened? Big notification just popped up and I lost my place. Turning a person's screen off with 3-finger swipes and taps and stuff. I'm not completely technologically illiterate. I get by. I set up a Discord. I set up a stream all by myself. Yes, there were some technical difficulties. But this is why I did test streams. I think it's going okay so far. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was a few of you have seen them. We've frozen again. I think it's just too hot in here. Is the emotes. I over the weekend, the other thing I did over the weekend was I drew some emotes, I created a character, and I made some emotes. He's a little anthropomorphic sentient ginkgo nut. He doesn't have a name yet. If you have any suggestions, throw them in chat. I've had a couple. None of them really fit yet. The reason I wanted to work on it so quick is because I got a few people in last stream and someone here currently with this lens I have, that's the max zoom. Sorry, I am going to be ordering a macro soon. What I can do though, how about this? We've got good resolution. I can just stretch the screen. Where am I working? See, I'm alright at tech. I figured something out. How's that? So yeah, I made a little character. And I made some emotes. I haven't animated any emotes yet. I did download a couple programs for animating. Oh, I was going to show you. I used to make flip books before. When I first came to Japan, I had a couple schools that were using me a lot. I used to be an ALT. And then I had one school that just... They didn't really want me there. They just didn't... The English teachers at that school didn't think they needed someone else in the class with them. So I was just a tape recorder in those classes. And then outside of the classes, they gave me no work to do. No assignments to prep, no nothing. No, they wouldn't let me even help them mark. So I took to making flip books. And I was looking through the animation software before, and it reminded me today of some of the flip books I used to make. I had this idea for this big, expansive, sort of, what would you call it? Almost like a a flipbook novel. But then I quit that job and then I was busy from day to dusk. Oh, see ya, Yuki. Ukes. Bye. Are you off? Did I misread that? Oh, it's Fly who's off. See you later, Fly. Thank you for showing up. And thanks for all the information. I believe we're in adverts now, I know. I didn't warn you guys. A couple of you still here, I guess. We'll wait and I can prep for the next section. Wait for everyone to go back. There should just be a minute. Show and tell idea. Let me just do a little bit of setup for what we're going to be talking about today. It's okay to do. Hello, are we all back? Sorry about that, I didn't give you proper warning. Yeah, remind me about the flipbooks at some point. I was going to get them out and I was going to show you. I started this like a story about this guy called Kato. He was a little wandering traveller around Japan in sort of mid-Edo era. And I got one little section of him setting off on his journey after a night's sleep and then getting attacked by getting caught in the middle of a samurai battle on horseback. So I was drawing all these little miniature horses. I'll show you next time, remind me. Anyway, it is top of the hour. Well, it's not, it's 10:30. It's been an hour since we started and I said I would answer the question. Time for question time. So today's question comes from Mudna. She goes by Tinty Lemon. No. Tinta Lemon on Instagram. She asked me in the Discord some tips on carving small and big curved lines and make them look natural. The smallest, curvier ones are the ones that are giving me the most issue. Tinta Lemon. Yeah, thank you. Is that you? Oh, that's you. You've got too many different names, right? Sorry. You are here. Perfect. I don't need to send you a clip later. It means I can postpone making the shorts. Okay, so these aren't very dark. So thank you for your question. Just a couple minutes now, I'll explain how I carve curves. So the inside of the curves are what we want to curve first. Whenever you're attacking a curve, you want to start from the outside of a shape first. So if I fill this in completely, actually, it'll be easier to see. So first, if you want to carve nice curves, imagine this is a little bit smaller and it's going to be trickier. But if we have a bunch of concentric circles like this, or any shapes where the curved lines are close together and moving in, so this area here, I would treat it the same as this circle I'm about to demonstrate. We always start from the outside shapes and we work our ways towards the center. But sort of counterintuitively to that, you always want to start with the inside of a curve. So the first cut on this would be the inside of the outside curve. And typically a half circle I'd do in 2 strokes. So I'd start really high there, blocking camera, and I'd come round, and about the halfway point I'd stop, or the quarter-way point I'd stop, and then I'd come all the way on the bottom and carve to the bottom, and then I'd repeat, reposition myself, and repeat. If you're turning the block, the same principles still sort of apply to you. The grain is running in a particular way here, and sort of in the same way I've explained before about clearing, is we want to clear in a particular way. The wood is going to react best if we're also carving in those directions. It's less critical when we're carving, but if we are going against, if I was to cut this curve here from this point up, it's not going to cut as easy as if I go from this point here. These are really fine points. If you're just turning the block, like, have at it, just go for it. If you have a sharp knife, it'll cut nicely regardless. But the question was about getting smooth and natural curves. This is the ideal way of doing it. You start from here. I'll show you on the inside curve. So we start from the outside, and then we work our way to the inside circle. But I don't want to waste so much time. You start right up at the top, come down, come here, position yourself correctly, get comfortable, and then push in all the way. The important things for carving curves is the using the correct body parts to do the curves. It's not about just using the hand. A lot of these, especially for longer sweeping curved lines, it's using your body to assist you to make curves. I'm not actually doing much on the hand or the wrist at all. Most of the movement is actually coming from my elbow. So I start in here and my elbow kicks out and pulls my arm along. That's the motion I'm doing to get a nice smooth curve. If you do everything like this, minor adjustments here is going to leave a more jagged edge on your curves. So the best way to carve a curve, especially the big long swooping ones, is to try and get your whole body involved. At the top of the curve, I'm using my torso and I'm rotating in, and then the arm kicks in. I don't have time in this little section here to go into all that in detail. I will be, I guess I'll be making a video at some point, and I guess we can talk about these stuff. There's a lot of nuance to the body position, but the important thing is to try and get that elbow involved. The strongest position, most stable, is when your wrist is parallel with your arm or just slightly bent. Your wrist never, when you carve at any point, my wrist never goes past the 0. It's straight or it's bent this way. I never bend this way. Does it matter for blade direction left and right handed? Here's the answer to that. So for this side, I'm going to carve like this. My bevel, my flat of my knife is against the line. That's ideal. But since I don't rotate my block, I also use the bevel side. And I'd start up here. It's maybe easier for you to see. And I come down. I'm twisting my body to do it. Get to the halfway point. Pull out, same angle. Get back in. Knife enters the wood just before the previous cut, so I can recut that section. Sorry, knife slipping up my hand. I start just before the previous section, so I can slice and get rid of any bumps that may be there. At the bottom, I can readjust any mistakes I might have in the merger there. And that is how we cut the curves. Your blade should always be parallel to your hand. So my wrist is in a loose grip there, and the blade is parallel to my arm. And that's how I'm holding the knife to do these cuts. So on an S curve, it would be carve the inside first of this section, and then it'd be carve the outside of this section, and I'd bring that all the way down to the next inside of the curve. And then I'd repeat and come back up there and come down on the outside of that. So I'd alternate my curves, my cuts. So I'm always working on the inside of a curved line first. But the most important thing for carving nice clean lines is the one thing I didn't mention was keeping your blade angle the same. You want to maintain that angle. A lot of people, they will, maybe I can zoom out for this. A lot of people when they're carving, they'll start at a really good angle, and then all of a sudden they'll come to the bottom and the blades will be basically perpendicular, 90 degrees cut. You want to maintain that angle all the way around. The image you should be thinking of is like the moon orbiting. Imagine this is the center of the earth, and then at the top here you have the moon. It's just orbiting around. Same angle. I think that's enough of that. You will chip a lot of knives practicing these circles. If you want to practice circles, I do a little Illustrator file or something like that, create some circles, print them out, stick them down, and just practice doing circles. In fact, I have a block to show you. I've done a lot of this practice. I think this is a good time to show you. Where is that big block? Ooh, frames. Oh, disaster. Absolute disaster. Okay. Jesus. Oh, Christ. Apparently the frames were really precariously placed up there. Don't tear down that. I didn't do it on purpose. I moved the frame and everything just came down. Finally the stream livened up there. After all that, it's the wrong block. It's the wrong block. I've got to get it down. It's just there. Okay. Maybe we don't upload this VOD. Absolute chaos. Cupboard Jenga. I organised it really well. Yeah, this is one of many blocks I've done like this. This is some of my early training. Yeah, it's a really big block. It's bigger than Auburn, and it's full of kanji and these circles. I've done quite literally thousands and thousands of these little circles. That's for size. Circle with the dot in the middle, bordered by a square. And yeah, I did lots and lots and lots of these, and they take an incredibly long time to do, and it's some of the best practice you can do. It's really difficult to do them perfect, and because they're mechanical lines, any variation yeah, it's really good practice. We heard how really well organised you are. I am quite organised. All the stuff on the top there is just blocks. The problem is I don't have enough storage, and so they're all, and I don't have anywhere to put my frames, and I had a few extra frames. You're starting to have a block problem too in your yeah, some sort of sutra writing. It's taken from some text. There's stuff on the back as well, some line practice, kanji practice, and of course more of the circles. Every piece of wood I had to train on had these circles on them. It's not sanded, it will be planed. This was a nice piece of wood. Anyway, I have, yeah, the other great thing for practice is kanji. So lots and lots of kanji practice. Anyway, that was supposed to be just a side note. We ended up having an absolute avalanche from my wardrobe. And we're going to run out of time on the stream. Anyway, I hope that was interesting for you. I hope it was worth it, because I got a hell of a lot of tidying up to do. So I hope that answered your question. It's one of the biggest things that's really tricky about carving. It's where you'll chip your knife, it's where you'll get stuff that's not smooth, it's where your inability with a knife will show the worst. So practice circles, practice cutting circles, try and get your angle the same all the way around. Try and do them in segments. Whenever you finish one segment, you want to be as comfortable as you can the whole time you're doing it. Use not just your wrist, your whole body, and when you finish a segment, go back a little bit and you can slice just the minutest little bit. Do they have rental place storage in Japan? Yes, they do. I passed one on the way to school. My chat's disappeared. Ooh. Okay, back to it. We've got a little bit of extra time. Let's finish off some carving before we go. One thing just before we do run out of time, I wanted to ask, you can see that we have a new system for rewards. I've added a little chip counter. As you watch, you gain chips. And I haven't actually created any rewards for that yet. So if you have some suggestions for rewards you'd like, maybe you'd like TTS, text to speech. I'd probably set the the cost of that quite high so I don't get it spammed. But if something like that is of interest to you, we can do that. All the other streamers, I've been doing a little bit of research to see what other people are using as rewards. People have like water checks, posture checks. But if you have any input on that, let me know, and I can draw some little pictures and add them in. So maintain that angle. Try and do it in one smooth motion. TTS can be a bit annoying at times, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it can be a bit much sometimes. Thank you, Quilter. Cheers for showing up. See you around. TTS is text to speech. So you can get like an AI. I was thinking, do I want to add that or not? I thought I'd put it to you guys, see what you think. If I was to do it, like I say, if everyone really wanted it, then I'd probably set it for quite a lot of points. So especially new people coming in, they couldn't just spam it. And I'd probably set a timer on it. But from what I've seen, like, I don't think... It seems like something that's really... that can be really overused and overdone, but other streams that use it, people don't tend to... I think people are quite aware that it's something that can be spammy and frustrating, so people often don't do it so much. The other way to do it would be, I think you can set rewards like that for bits. Not that I'm trying to like get people to pay for stuff. I just, if there is a cost to it, maybe people don't use it so much. It might be good for things. The real benefit for carving is like if I ever go off stream or something, it might be good to be able to ping. But maybe I could just do some sounds, like pre-recorded sounds, and you could just play them. Maybe an emote shows up and a little sound plays, and that tells me that I am off camera or something. Although it's happened once or twice, but it's not such a existential reoccurring problem. And I'm only going to get better at knowing where my camera is laid out and stuff. Off-camera alarm, yeah. Chat generally reflects the streamer. I wonder what you guys are going to turn into. You've just seen me smashing through my room, ripping things out of cupboards, ruining the facade that I'm an organised and competent human. I got excited, took a block down. Maybe this stream is just a write-off. But yeah, if you have any ideas for some rewards for those. A block off camera alert would be good, I think. We didn't panic much. I did. I enjoyed the escalating versions of This Is a Disaster. I'm going to have to watch that back. Is there any other... If anyone has any other questions, please put them into the Question Time channel on the Discord. Maybe I can think about the question a little bit more and how to be concise without spilling into too many segments. Actually, there's a lot to talk about with cutting circles, and I probably should have narrowed it down to just one or two things. Flyfish, that seems like a good question for for the Discord. We only have a couple minutes left of the stream and we don't have time to get into that, sorry. Looking forward to seeing the cleaning step. I carve much deeper, I think, which helps me not chip lines and stuff. Yeah. I have my knives probably quite a bit pointier than you have as well. So it also looks like I'm not going very deep. So it looks like there's not much of the blade going in the wood often, but there is. I'm going down about 1 millimeter, 1.2 maybe. I do have a tendency to carve a little bit shallower than maybe I should. When I first started, I was apparently quite heavy-handed, and I got told I was heavy-handed, and so I counterbalanced by going too far in the other direction, and I started carving nicer lines, delicate, flowy lines, but I got used to carving a little bit shallow, I guess. So if I was my teacher watching, I'd tell myself to give myself a little bit more fail-safe. And I often tell myself that in my head. The thing about this craft is there's always somewhere to improve. And that's one of the things I've been thinking about recently. Is that I should go a touch deeper. I've also got an incredibly, like, I keep my knives really, really sharp because I don't want to put too much pressure in while I'm carving. So I try and maintain my, I'm quite a stickler for having a really sharp knife. So it makes it look a little bit more effortless because I don't have to put in as much effort. I think we have come to the end of days here. The time really flies. Thank you, Happy Ukes. Thanks for showing up. Have a nice sleep. You had no one to show you where you're carving too deep until you watch Dave. Yeah, once you've established a bad habit, it's really tricky to break it. Every carver has some bad habits. Every single person. Even people who've been carving for a long, long time. Especially, I guess. Tummy grumbling. Yeah. Most important thing. I mentioned I will be going on an excursion on Friday, and it is interacting. Sorry to drag the stream on a little bit longer, but it's the time I need to be at the park is actually at the same time as the standard streaming time. So either I can do an evening stream on Friday, or we can just reschedule and just cancel that one and do the week before. The week after. I will put a message on the Discord to tell you what I decide. Most likely, I will cancel this Friday stream. So sorry about that. I might reschedule. Let me know your opinions. Enjoy your excursion. Thank you. Yeah, I will. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Sorry, everything's been a little bit chaotic. I will get more used to doing these streams and they will become smoother. The technology is working correctly, it seems. We haven't overheated and it hasn't turned off. So I think that is a victory. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to set up a raid. If you need to go, feel free. I'm not sure who we're going to raid yet. Oh, this is... Yeah, I guess we're doing this. We're going to drop in on the top one in my suggestions here. I popped in there once and it was like a fever dream. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Maybe you'll enjoy. Yeah, we're just going to go in. It's a little bit weird over there. Enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm going to start the raid there. I will catch you guys, if not on Friday evening, next week. Thank you. Let's raid now. Enjoy and get ready. Peace.